a presentation which is a showcase of Sika's award-winning projects. Today, we have with us Sean Saxby, who is the head target marketing, waterproofing, refurbishment, roofing, and flooring at Sika. Mark Grissel, who is KZN Regional Sales Manager for Contractors, and Anthony Webster, who is the Western Cape Sales Manager for Contractors. And we're going to be taking you through some exciting Sika projects. This is hosted in partnership with New Media's brands, Industrial Buyer, Specifile, and DIY and Industrial Trade News. So I hope you've all got your coffees charged and ready to go. It's nice and bright and early in the morning. And I'm going to hand it over to Sean Saxby to start us off.
Okay, thank you, Mariska, for the introduction. Really appreciate it. Guys, we had a bit of a glitch this morning. We were supposed to open with our video, but we're going to be going into the video after my presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of Sika South Africa and Sika in general. If we look at Sika, it was founded back in 1910 by a gentleman named Caspar Winkler, and he developed a waterproofing admixture for Sika mortar, for mortar. And this product was called Sika 1, and in fact today it's still in our range. A couple of years after he had developed this, he assisted the waterproofing of the St. Gotthard Tunnel in Switzerland. And in fact today, over 100 years later, Sika again is the chosen waterproofing for the extension of the tunnel. So from these humble beginnings, a progressive, focused company with a powerful culture was born. And in fact, today we have over 100 countries on all continents with more than 300 plants worldwide. Our reporting structure is the EMEA region, which we fall over. So we have a reporting into Europe. We have the Americas as well as Asia Pacific. As of 2012, Sika made the emerging markets of Africa a focus. And as a result today, we have 14 companies and 13 branches worldwide. From this platform, we are well placed to service all of Africa, and currently the most representative of all our competitors. On a local front, our national footprint, we're in all the major provinces around South Africa. We service the Northern Cape via Western Cape and Free State, and we service Limpopo and Mpumalanga and the Northwest from Gauteng. Our organization, we're a specialty chemicals company, and we're leaders in developing and producing of systems and products for bonding, sealing, damping, reinforcing, protecting in the building sector and the motor vehicle sector. So if you look at our company at a glance, we have more than 25,000 employees worldwide. We're in over 100 countries, as I expressed earlier, 300 plants. Since 2015, we've opened another 44 plants, 425 new patents since 2015, 25 new acquisitions since 2015. And we did net sales in 2020 of 7.9 billion Swiss francs, which equates to about 129.7 billion rand. So we're there. Our products might not always be visible, but the results they achieve are clear to see. Our strategy, by targeting the strategic pillars of market penetration, innovation, operational efficiency, acquisitions, and sustainability, we have been able to maintain and sustain profitable growth, which has ensured that Sika has prospered steadily over the years. So we've got more than 100 years of expertise. Our reputation for quality and reliability is illustrated through the comprehensive portfolio of our technology and solutions. So whether you're waterproofing your basement, your roof, sealing a skyscraper or car, working on your house or a multi-story building, you will see why we are renowned for building trust. At the heart of any company, and in particular Sika, are always the employees. We are recognized as Sika's biggest asset, and because of our dedicated workforce, able to deliver highest levels of customer and technical service, which you've become accustomed to. Building trust. Trust forms the backbone of our partnerships and collaborations, whether it's a customer, employee, or supplier. This can be seen in our daily approach in the workplace. What everything boils down to is the culture, and values and principles obviously play a huge role. We have a respect and responsibility to our customers, our shareholders, and our fellow employees. This is all reflected in our brand promise of building trust. Below are the Sika values and principles, which our employees carry a card around each day to remind them of the principles we have. Okay, so we look at our target markets, what Sika's broken up into, and I'll briefly go through them. We have, under the Sika umbrella, 8 focused target markets. We have building and finishing, which is tile adhesives and grouts, wall leveling products fall under this. Concrete, Sika develops and markets a complete range of admixtures and additives for concrete, cement, as well as mortar production. We look at our waterproofing. Here we have a full range of technologies for both below and above ground application. Various mortars, membranes, and joints, waterproofing fall under this. Roofing. Our range includes single ply and built-up roofing systems consisting of both flexible sheets and liquid applied membranes. Flooring and coatings. We have an extensive range of polyurethanes and epoxy coatings, as well as cementitious systems. We focus on the industrial and commercial applications there. So typically your pharmaceutical, food and beverage, etc. would fall here. Sealing and bonding. We have a wide range of high performance and durable polyurethane sealants. Typical applications would be the sealing of movement and construction joints. Refurbishment, which is what you're going to hear extensively about a little bit later. We have a broad spectrum of products here, from structural repair mortars to structural non-sheet grouts, protective coatings, corrosion control, and structural strengthening. Then our 8th target market, which has really got nothing to do with construction, but these guys deal with the adhesives for motor vehicle assembly, as well as the automotive aftermarket. So they do anything from bonding of windscreens to structural glazing to facade sealing, among other things. So for the purpose of today, we're only going to deal with our 7 construction target markets, and we can have a look at the following. We are able to provide solutions for all construction projects. So nothing is really too big or small for us. Whether it's residential or commercial, housing or office blocks, industrial, from heavy petrochemical to food and beverage to infrastructure. And we certainly hope that our president and government will start spending to help us along. So from new construction out of the ground, be it housing, office blocks, to renovation and rehabilitation of aging structures, we have the ability to breathe new life into them. We have a solution for all your problems. From basement to roof and everything in between, we've got you covered. Our sales team are always at your disposal, whether you need on-site technical assistance or help in the composing of technical specifications, to filling the shelves at our vast distribution network. We are there to help. Sika is continuously focused on building trust with our partners. Sustainability. Our environment is suffering, and we at Sika are serious about playing a positive role. Looking after our environment has never been more important to Sika, and our Sika engineers are continuously looking at different ways to extend the service life of buildings, to reduce maintenance, improve energy and material efficiency, as well as looking at health and safety profiles. Our environment is important to us, and as a company, we are committed to making our products and in turn your structures more sustainable. Our commitment and intent is displayed by our participation in green building programs. Here we participate in the LEED, BREEAM, EPD, and LCA of products. We have the products and supporting literature available for all our target markets to assist our customers in achieving their Green Star rating. So keep us in mind next time and give us a call. Research and development, very important to Sika. Over the world, we have 1,000 employees totally dedicated to research and development. We invest in the order of 200.2 million Swiss francs in R&D activities. Last year, we had 83 new patents filed. We have 21 global technology centers in 10 countries, 21 regional technology centers, one for in South Africa, and 49 local technology centers. So if you look, Sika is constantly evolving, constantly improving, and delivering innovative and new solutions. So whether we're looking at new sealants, better stretchability, adhesion, low VOCs emissions, or we're looking at new epoxy floor coatings, improved blushing resistance, reduced yellowings, low odor, to hemp and hemp-based and cement-free mortars, thermal and phonic insulation benefits, and a negative CO imprint. We are continuously evolving and trying to get to be better. So Sika is the right partner. And why are we the right partner? We're innovative, and we have high performance solutions. Our system solutions are from roof to floor and from site to shelf, as alluded to earlier. Solutions for every climate, for any need, and for all kinds of applications. We have a solution for you. Innovation leader in construction and refurbishment products. We are the market leaders there. Unmatched R&D aligned to each target market. Sustainable and cost-efficient products and systems. Proven quality. We have the SABS ISO 9001 approvals. Environmental responsibility, ISO 14001. We also have the ISO 45001, development, production, and distribution of systems and products in the building sector. So while we globally active, we're on a big scale, we're locally integrated. So there's nothing too small for us to assist you with. So we are Sika, and when we play the video next, you'll see why I alluded to the slide. But this is our sales staff and our support staff around the country. And these guys are just ready to go and to assist you on site and to help you with any problems that you may have on site. So guys, I'm just going to leave you with this. And, you know, I want to warn you that, and I don't want to cause any major rumblings, but if you do not use Sika, you risk the following happening. And with that, I thank you for your attention. I'd just like to remind you, please don't forget to visit our new and improved user-friendly website, www.sika.co.za, where you will find our sustainability details, our data sheets, our project references, amongst a wealth of other exciting info. So thank you, and if Mariska, you can play the video now, I'll appreciate that before we go on to Mark and Anthony's presentations.
Sika, born with a commitment to excellence, owned by the courage to innovate, facing the toughest competition, and emerging with a stronger spirit, the Sika spirit, that infuses every job we perform, every customer we serve, every day. We are a global leader in products and systems for bonding, sealing, damping, reinforcing, and protecting. We touch your world every day in ways you're not even aware of, from the foundation to the roof, from roads on every continent to the vehicles that drive over them. We are always putting our customers first, building trust, managing for results with empowerment and respect, embracing sustainability, and performing our work with integrity. We are the future. The spirit of Sika is spreading across the globe with over 18,000 employees in 100 countries, taking on the toughest challenges, achieving the highest goals, setting the standards for decades to come. We are Sika strong. We are Sika proud. We are Sika.
Thank you, Sean. Good morning to everybody. Welcome to our webinar jam. I've got the honor this morning in talking about a project that I was involved, Durban Heights Reservoir Hills 3. Okay, so Durban Heights Reservoir Hills 3, just a short introduction. The Durban Heights Reservoir Hills 3 was constructed in 1971. Just to remind you guys, back in the day, there was no computers, so the design and construction was all done on paper. It's one of the biggest reservoirs in the southern hemisphere. At full capacity, it holds 360 megaliters of potable water, and back in the day, it supplied 70% of the greater Durban and surrounding areas. It's an absolute civil engineering masterpiece, even in today's language. If you look at the drawings of a structure, we got a single support column for the roof structure. It's almost 49 meters high. The diameter of the reservoir was 167 meters. You've got 120 pre-stressed cable ducts that consist of 41 by 7 millimeters stands in cable ducts. And you've got 4,440 precast panels that's sitting and spanning around the radiant of this reservoir roof structure. So the project participants in the project was basically Umgeni Water, consultants as well as Koning DHV, Smart Civils, and the supplier was Sika South Africa. Okay, but just before I go on to that, the project started back in about 2003, where Umgeni Water conducted a survey, and there was early signs of concrete spalling on the soffit of the reservoir on the concrete roof panels. Good diagnostic survey was carried out by the engineers, and they came up with a specification. So now we go back into the future, and around about 2018, towards end 2018, the project came out to tender. And Umgeni Water actually wanted to repair the roof soffits live, but there was quite a bit of challenges with the concrete rehabilitation process. Number one, you got 100% humidity because of the reservoir was full of water, okay? And that creates a unique microclimate that will cause condensation throughout the day, from the east to the west, and that's ongoing every day, 365 days a year. Umgeni in 2003 also erected a gantry, a movable gantry that spans 78 meters long by 3 meters wide. And their intention was to provide this as access for the contractor to conduct the concrete rehabilitation. The total surface area was 26,000 square meters of reinforced concrete soffit. And besides the repair, we also need to apply a protective durable coating that will extend the service life of the concrete structure. Okay, so assessment was done by Koning DHV, Smart Civils, and Sika South Africa. So the scope of the work, as mentioned before, we had to do the concrete spalling to the reinforced concrete roof soffit. We had to provide a long-term durable reinforced concrete structure. And the post-tension cables that was filled back in the day with the bitumen mastic was leaking, and it was basically over all the years created voids, and there was a big risk of corrosion within the ducting system. So we needed to provide an injectable system that will also offer a long-term corrosion protection for the pre-stressed cables. Just a bit of a soffit view of all the precast panels. Here you can see that's part of a 4,440 concrete panels spanning around the radiant of the reservoir. And you can also see a bit of a spalling on some of the beams. And that's just a view from the other side. This photo is from the top of a center support column, spanning down 50 meters or 49 meters to the bottom of the reservoir. Here's a photo of a gantry. So the initial thinking was to conduct the entire concrete rehabilitation process on this gantry. At most, you could load 10 working people with tools. So I just want to go back here. Also, what I would like to mention is this would have entailed the contractor working 365 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, so Smart Civils was looking at the full entire scope, and they came up with a unique, innovative scaffold design. They used 550 tons of scaffolding, created a birdcage scaffold structure from the soffit floor to the roof soffit. It had to go down a 50-degree slope embankment inside the reservoir, and it started at the minimum height of 3 meters, spanning up to the highest at 55 meters center of the reservoir. The scaffolding basically was divided in 4 and 8 quarter pieces with, call it like pizza pieces, with 3,250 square meters of surface area that they were working on. And it had to also comply to SANS code 10085. Just a photo for you down when the scaffolding starts. If you look at this photo, you can see the extent and the magnitude of the size of this reservoir. There is a workforce at the bottom, and they look almost the size of ants. Just a bit of some more photos. You can see the guys just carrying this 550 ton scaffolding in and start building this bird cage design. Quite unique. There you can have a good idea what it looked like from a side view. And you can see on the left top that the platforms are at soffit level. Looking down, once the scaffolding was erected and we started the initial inspections, you see a lot of spalling on the beams. And you look a little bit further down, it's also on the soffit, which is only 50 mil thick in the center of the precast panels. So, the products that we use for concrete spalling. Now, there was 15% of surface area that had to be repaired. And the selection of the right correct products was critical due to the access that Smart Civils had. So the products that we've chosen was the Sika Monotop 610, which is a polymer modified bonding agent, and the anti-corrosive coating for reinforcing steel. The Sika Top Armortech 110 Epicem, also a bonding agent, anti-corrosive coating for reinforcing steel with a corrosion inhibitor. All the rebar that was exposed, grit blasted, cleaned, was coated with 2 coats of Armortech. Then the regional specification called for a Sika Guard 45 Epicem. For the guys that's familiar with our product, would know that it's a 3-component epoxy cementitious material. However, we proposed to change that, and we introduced our Sika Monotop 412 NFG. It's a polymer modified repair mortar that can be wet spray, applied and hand applied. You can apply it in layers of 50 above head, and it complies to EN 1504-04. We did use a bit of our Sika Crete 214 where we had to break through the roof structure, but that was only a few bags type of thing, or few literage, like not more than half a cubic meter, and that's structural microconcrete. Obviously, with a bad damage to some of the rebar, which was replaced as per engineer's instruction, some of the beams and soffit area had to be strengthened with our Sika Wrap 250C carbon fiber structural stempling system in conjunction with our Sika 350 structural epoxy. So our initial application thought was to handpack, and I've spoken to Andrew Ibbotson from Smart Civils, and I explained to him that I've been involved before where we've sprayed the Monotop 412 as a wet spray application. And yeah, he was quite interested and started investigating to if it's possible and feasible to spray our 412 NFG. Just a bit of grass coming down the scaffolding, and on the left-hand side you can see some severe spalling. So once the inspection has taken place, the guys would cut, clean, repair, and the team every day will go up, consisting of two site engineers, the main contractor and the consultants, and they do a QC program to ensure that all spalling has been removed so that they get a sound repair. Just a view of a rebar, and you can see the complexity of that rebar and how do you repair that above your head and ensure that it's a sound repair, and thinking that's a structural beam that needs to be sound. Yeah, you can also see on the right-hand side, like I said, the complexity and the size. Some of those repairs were up to 200, maybe 1.5 meters to 3 meters, and 500 wide. So, Smart Civils contact Lockheed. They specialize in dry and wet spray mortar machines, and we have then did some site trials, and they decided to introduce a 3-phase Lockheed TSL Mini. The reason why I chose a Mini is because of the access that was very limited in terms of height and all the stepping on the scaffolding. And yeah, they've also brought in a unique wet spray nozzle. There you can see where we set up trials. So we had Lockheed on site, we had Smart Civils, Royal Haskoning, ourselves, and yeah, we started the wet trials. Okay, this is just a photo to show you the properties of the Sika Monotop 412 NFG. The NFG, it's got a corrosion inhibitor, if I haven't mentioned it. Here you can see a dense wet spray application in layers. You can see now the rough texture. So when the following layer follows in the spray application, you don't only get a mechanical key, you get the chemical key bond and then the mechanical that goes with it. Just some of the panels that's been repaired. If you look top right on all the beams, that's the finishing product. There's just some work in progress where you guys can see on the left, the guys have done quite a few repairs, and there you can see the magnitude and the size of the repairs to the supporting beams. A view down from the top. On the right-hand side, very far right-hand side, the workforce is busy spray applying Sika Ferrogard 903, which is corrosion inhibitor. And on the left-hand side, they carry on with a wet spray application. So yeah, this is what we had to deal with. So imagine you have to try and hand pack that. You'll never get a sound repair, and it won't be structurally sound. So yeah, I'm just gonna quickly show you guys a video of an actual wet spray application. So just excuse me here for a while I start the video. Okay, so what we've done here is we've mixed a full bag of material. The pump is quite relatively close to where we spray. I think we could move it up to 15 meters away from the actual pump. the applicator there, the contactor there is busy spraying, and I think critical there, and we've emphasized it in regards that you have to get behind the rebar to ensure a sound repair. We've also tested in the beginning what our limitations on the 412 is, and we could build it up 150 millimeters above that. Next they come back, hammer test it, and the repair was sound. We also opt not to go for that, as this is the other of our limitations as the data sheet. And we then selected to do it in layers, and the guys will come back and build it up to ensure sound repair. Once the repairs were completed, we actually went back. The next day, every single repair was hammer tested, and we will carry on. So the QC was from the best quality that one could imagine. Okay, that's just a photo of our Sika wrap carbon fiber structural strengthening system, the 250C, of some of the repairs to the beams with our Sika 350. And then we move now outside. So now we're going to the cable ducts. Like I mentioned before, these cables, 120 pre-stressed cables, it goes in the radiant around the reservoir. They are 78 meters long, the span, and we had to fill the cable ducts. So this is a view looking up towards the reservoir. That's the expansion joint that we're busy cleaning. And after long discussion, because of the bitumen mastic that's leaching, it could not be re-injected to the mastic because that posed the problem that it kept on leaching. So we then chose our Sika injection fuel 7, which got an extreme low viscosity, and it's also passivizing to steel. So it's got a passivating properties, and that's why this product was selected. So on just a bit of an exterior photos that I want to show you, here the guys on the left-hand side are mixing the fuel 7, Sika injection fuel 7. Some unique properties, like I already mentioned, passivating towards steel, very low viscosity. It's got a viscosity of 7 megapascals per second. Water is 1. And you could also, by reducing or increasing your component C, control your setting time of this injection material. I think on site and the conditions and the temperature, the contactor selected to have a 40-minute pot life with it. And yeah, it almost worked like a Swiss clock. At 40 minutes, the injection resin will set. The model photo just shows the pump, and the right-hand the pump setup that we started with. And on the right-hand side, you can see that we've moved with a pump all the way to the top. We had injection ports starting at the bottom, and typically like pressure injection, you'll start at one end, working your way up. And obviously, when your resin starts extruding by the nipple above, you would then stop and follow the process and carry on. I just want to touch on maybe one or two other products that I haven't mentioned in this presentation. The Sika 43ZA epoxy mortar that we used to repair around the injection ports. We needed a very strong bond because we went up to, at some stage, I think, up to 12 bar of pressure. So we needed a strong bond between the repair material and the concrete itself. We also applied 26,000 square meters of Sika Ferrogard 903 Plus. That was sprayed applied. The Sika Ferrogard 903 is a corrosion inhibitor. It absorbs, or it ingress into the concrete, absorbs to the reinforcing steel, and it makes the rebar leave it in a passive environment. It could also extend your service life or by almost double of the expected service life if used. Then we also applied the Sika Guard 705L because now we had to provide a durable product to stop all chloride ingress that caused the spalling in the first place. And the 705L was chosen. It penetrates 2 to 4 millimeters into the concrete substrate. And we had a bit of joint sealing using a Sika Primer 3N and a Pro 3I, where the guys had to ream and seal a few cracks. We've also entered our project, or you can say the team's project, into construction base walls projects. The category chosen that we entered it in was specialist contractors or suppliers. And yeah, we are pleased to say that won that category. And that was at the awards evening in Johannesburg, end of last year, middle last year. On the right hand side, it's Sean Saxby and myself next to him. Left of me is Gerrit Visser, that represented the Royal Huiskoning RDHV. And then you had Andrew Ibbotson from Smart Civils, Contracts Director. Okay, that's just an overview, yeah. And I just want to show you guys one more video and then I'm done. So let's get back to my presentation. So let's go. Can't see. Okay, don't worry. Got it. Right, guys, thank you for your attention. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague in Cape Town, Anthony Webster, to present his project.
Thank you, Mark. Morning, everybody. I'm just going to get onto my presentation quick. You must just hand over your presentation, Mark. And here we go. All right, we're going to get straight into it. Right, morning everybody. As I said, it's Anthony here from Sika Cape Town. Today we'll be presenting on the Zeitz Mocker Museum, one of the jobs which I was quite privileged to be involved with. Iconic looking structure, has won many awards within Sika and in the marketplace as well. I'll be taking you through a bit of a ride in terms of from where it started and where it ended up. And here we go. All right, so as Mark said in his one at the beginning, so the initial grain silo construction was built in 1921. As I said, it's located at the famous V&A waterfront in Cape Town. The museum building was constructed from, or the now new museum building was constructed from the conversion of the 57-meter tall historic grain silo. Overall, the entire development was about 9,500 squares, consisting of 9 floors. it's a nice bit of a story in terms of how it all originated. Sika has worked many years with the V&A waterfront. The V&A waterfront had a vision for these silos, and they actually formed a partnership with a German businessman called Jochen Zeitz, hence the name the Zeitz Mocker, which came about. The waterfront buy-in or assistance would be a 500 million rand, let's say, deposit or payment towards the construction as well as infrastructure development at the waterfront. Part of the deal was Zeitz also would put his art collection on display at the Zeitz Mocker for the rest of his life, basically. The conversion itself began in 2014 under the direction of London-based architect Thomas Heatherwick. The idea was to turn the inside core or hollow out the inside of the silos to the shape of a piece of grain, which you can see in the bottom right-hand side. As I said before, the project was entered into Best Projects in 2016-17 and won numerous accolades in the Fultons Awards. Initial project requirements, Sika and the consulting engineers, which is Southern Associates, Sika along with WHO, the main contractor. The architectural team locally was VDMMA. In terms of the management team, which is MACE Projects, we had a good relationship with all the partnerships right from day one. We were asked to assist with issues on the building, basically because it was a heritage structure and needed a lot of work with the refurbishment. But also there was a lot of areas where we were in unknown territory, or the client was in unknown territory because they didn't really know what the scope was or how bad the structure was when they first handed onto it. So there was a lot of negotiations and chatting and discussions on product selection and systems. In terms of the product range of Sika, there's a whole range from, as Sean Saxey mentioned, our target market refurbishment, our target, as you can see, the whole list going through here, all the repair mortars, protective coatings, anything linked to concrete repair and protection was used on the structure. We also assisted on the whole range of sealing and bonding, waterproofing and roofing, flooring, even concrete admixtures. From Sika's team, I ran up the construction division. We also had our industry colleagues, our sealing and bonding colleagues, and everybody basically came together to hand over the project, as you can see, to this day. We did have some new systems used on the structure, which I'll be going into a bit later, some new waterproofing applications and flooring. But the main thing was to try and hand over to the client a structure that still looked like a silo, but obviously with all the new additions internally. All right, the refurbishment phase, as you can see from the picture on the left, we had to, or WHO and the contractor had to literally remove the whole core of the silo structure completely out, and then also to cut and shape it to get to what it was today. The focus was to maintain the natural look of the concrete. So with regards to the repair mortars, we use extensive mortars, but we also tried to keep it to basic mix and pour micro concretes. The Sika 212, Sika 214, both were systems used on all the concrete repairs, placed via shutter, and they were also extended with a stone aggregate selected in terms of what it looked like as the overall finish, because we had to try and match into the existing concrete. The protection of the silos, based on the client wanting to see the concrete, we couldn't use any type of coating system that was visible. So we had to go for a silane system based on all the concrete elements. With the test being done, the chloride concentration was below 2%, which meant that we could also apply a product called Sika Ferrogard 903 Plus, which is our migratory corrosion inhibitor system, which is mainly put on to try and repassivate and give the structure a bit of a boost of life with regards to the rebar passivation. On the main block of the building, I'm just going to go back a slide. I'm sure you would know. Let's see. All right, so referring to the main building block on the left, obviously the silos on the right, the main block was had quite a few cold joint issues, and the cold joint issues meant that we couldn't use the actual clear silane system on it. We had to use a product called Sika Elastic 152. And the 152 itself is our cementitious crack bridging elastic coating. With the application, we had to do a lot of test samples for the architects in Europe. The next slide shows bottom right. It might not look like it, but we did over 45 different samples on the structure to determine the color, the look, the feel, how the product looked in certain conditions and of lights, etc. So extensive testing was done to try and mimic the natural look of the structure. In terms of the general refurbishment, a lot of care and attention was also paid to keeping the natural look of the concrete with the exposed aggregate. So the bottom left was mainly construction of walkways. The bottom right picture is basically referring to the cutting of the concrete, and then the grinding and polishing would happen after this. In terms of renovations, lots of new areas had to be constructed, obviously going further above the demolition to get the core and the internal hollowing out process. As I mentioned, the coating systems on the main silos was the Sika 706, a clear water repellent system, which is breathable, allows the structure to dry out, but not allow any new water getting in. And then the Magrady corrosion inhibitor was the Ferrogard 903 was applied to the entire structure. I'll be moving on from the repair stage onto the coatings. All right, so coating-wise, in terms of the flooring, the wooden, well, the actual art gallery floors were raised wooden flooring, which led us to have a bit of a session together with the architectural team to decide, well, how do we supply a flooring system that can handle the abuse of different art pieces, that can handle the thousands of foot traffic that goes through, but still remain flexible, abrasive resistant, impact resistant. So the system called Sika Floor Comfort Tough, first time it was used in South Africa, had to be extensively tested on site. As we do with most of our Sika products, which we haven't used locally before, we have to do excessive trials and testing. The pictures on the bottom would depict different applications used, different pull-off tests that we had to go through to try and get a feel of what actually works and what doesn't work. Just to show you on the Comfort Floor Tough, where we came from and where we ended off, the bottom left slide is the existing timber flooring. All of their butt joints had to be reamed and fiberglass taped just to stiffen it. Obviously, once the application and prepping and priming was done, the finished floor is obviously in the middle, and then obviously the aim is the end result, obviously with all the artwork already placed and in show. The other areas connecting the gallery floors is the walkways, where we use a product called Sika Floor 263 SL. It's our self-leveling epoxy. That's that black in color, shiny epoxy looking floor. It has matted out, and that is what happens with epoxies. They look shiny and glossy at the beginning, but they matte out over time. The new waterproofing application system that was used was a spray applied polyurea system, also placed onto a boarded roof. The bottom picture's clarity is not great, but you can see the glazing windows behind and the boarded roof in front. Bottom two slides. Bottom left is the boarded roof application, which is pre the spray applied polyurea, which is our waterproofing system was applied on the entire roof area where the timber boards were existing. The bottom right picture is, obviously you can't see the waterproofing, it's been closed up with blue slate pavers, but that's the roof image or the top image of the actual structure. Our sealing and bonding, which is now the next target market, all the joint sealing done on the structure combined many of our different polyurethane and silicone systems. I wasn't involved much with the glazing, as you can see from the bottom right-hand side pic, but our industry colleagues assisted from our Gauteng branch with a product called Sika Sil IG25. The IG25 was used to actually bond the glass elements together. That was done by a company called Compass Glass in Gauteng. The glass windows were then transported from Gauteng down to Cape Town, and then that was installed by the contractor locally. And that is the finished project. I must admit the overall experience that I had with the job was wonderful. I love heritage structures, and it was very challenging, I must say, but with close working relationships with the whole team, which is, when I say whole team, unfortunately the next slide is not the entire team, but just to name a few, obviously I'm on the left, my colleague Jan next to me, Albertine Smit, he's the director of WHO. Next to him is Lloyd Rubin, who's the director of from VDMMA, Cooper from Mace Projects, then our commanding officer, Paul Adams, overall director of Sika Africa, and then our local branch manager, Kevin Kimbry. And that's it. I'll be handing over now to my technical manager, Wayne Smithers, just to answer any questions. And
right.
the floor is yours, Wayne.
Thanks, Anthony. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this whole webinar. We really appreciate it. We've got only a few questions. So if there are any more questions as I go on, please, put your questions down in the chat area and we can answer them. At the moment, the questions that we have got is from Dennis. How is the heat and ventilation managed in the reservoir? I think I could answer that, but I think it is better that Mark answers it. He was there all the time. He found out how just hot that reservoir was. Mark?
Yeah, thank you, Wayne. Dennis, so obviously the reservoir was empty. That took the humidity out of the situation, and so it wasn't any more a problem working in a 100% humidity reservoir. There was fans on the scaffolding. There was extracting fans, dust extracting fans, and then close to the soffit, it's extremely hot. And Smart Civils, as they've actually put up a spray system on top of the roof. It was permanently sprayed, cooling the surface from the top down, and that reduced the temperature internally close to the soffit and the surface temperature on the concrete surface internally and externally. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Mark. We have another question from Stephen. When applying the Sika wrap to the reinforcement, you have to clean it. Stephen, sorry for any sort of wrong impression that we gave there. The Sika wrap is a carbon fiber fabric which is applied externally. So for structural strengthening, the rebar, we have liquid applied systems that we applied directly to the rebar, but certainly the rebar would be cleaned very well before any coating is applied to it. Once the repair was finished, our Sika wrap was applied as an additional structural strengthening to that area. If you need any more information on that, please just give us a call and we can go through it after the webinar or a bit later on at your convenience. Further one was David. Do you have training and development of emerging contractors? David, we certainly do. Any contractor that uses our product, training and development is available to you. If you need us to sort of help you in that regard, please just contact our local person wherever you are and local salespeople, and we will help you with that. The next question is from Daryl. Did you have issues pumping 412 NFG? Mark, I think you should answer that one.
Daryl, no, we had absolutely no problems pumping the 412 NFG. I think that's a few factors. Your water content, your mixing process is quite important. You need to get the right spray equipment in conjunction with the pressure that you put through your system to your actual nozzle by controlling it. We had very little rebound, almost, I would say that there's definitely probably at 2% EVAT. And like I said, we've tested it beforehand and see what sort of limits we can reach with a 412. And we've been able to build it up to 150 to 160 millimeters without slump. But when we did the application, we thinned down on our layers.
Okay, thanks, Mark. The last question so far is from Simon Stark. could you talk about the water ingress into the silo precinct basements? Anthony, could you come in and answer that one?
Can Simon elaborate a bit more? Because there was extensive waterproofing done on the whole external apron with a torch-on system. We weren't involved on that side, but we were very much involved with the rooftop waterproofing and obviously the internal. So we didn't have much involvement on the outer side. That wasn't part of the Zeitz Mocha application. I don't know if Simon can maybe send me his number, possibly, then I can give him a call.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to have to take place. Simon, can you make contact with Anthony, and he'll certainly go through that with you.
Yeah, I just want to see what he's asking. So, because he just says talk about the water ingress into silo precinct basements. I know there was an issue with regards to some of the torch-on done in the external facade, but that wasn't part of our contract. But I know about it though. But we can chat after it. That's fine.
Okay, we don't have any more questions in the chat room. If nothing comes through, okay, we may have one from Rahim. Can we get a list of authorized distributors, dealers in Uganda? Rahim, yes, certainly we can give you some details on that, no problem. Can you make contact with us afterwards, and we can put you in contact with our export division, and they will give you the information that you require. Sizwe, sorry, I don't know if I've got that name quite right. Yeah. Anyway, does Sika have products similar to Penetron? Yeah, we certainly have solutions for basically everything. So I would think that you, just please contact our local Sika sales, and we can look through your application that you're looking at and give you a Sika solution for that one, no problem. From Andrea, we have, if you use Sika products for the cement, is there any need to do torch-on as well? Andrea, I think that really depends on the application. Most certainly, we have cement-based systems, waterproofing systems that where you would not require a torch-on afterwards. But it would depend on the application. So we would need to look at exactly what you are trying to achieve. The next question from Pravesh. Can you talk us through the carbon fiber wrap? Pravesh, certainly we can. I think in this sort of webinar, we don't have a lot of time available to us, but I would absolutely be 100% happy to go through the Sika wrap, the carbon fiber wrap with you. If you can contact me personally after the webinar, I will certainly go through it and give you all the information you require. Melissa, any new products developed during the pandemic? Melissa, even although we have had a lot of problems, we certainly have a number of products developed, and they will be launched fairly soon. We are very excited about some of the products that we are going to be launching. They are really they have a strong base in sustainable products for green projects. So yeah, watch this space. We will be launching these products fairly soon. So yeah, some exciting stuff coming up. Just wait a minute just to see if there are any further questions. Yeah, okay. Tapologo, your waterproofing products, do they apply to concrete surfaces only? No, we have a number of waterproofing products that can be applied to all sorts of substrates. So again, please contact us. We can look at your application, but we have a multitude of products that apply to various substrates. Okay, I'm not too sure if that's the last one. Not sure what timing's like. Okay, I believe we are up. We virtually at our 1 hour limit, so we're going to keep it there. But please, I think the contact details are in the chat room. Please give us a call. We'd be very happy to help you with any of your issues and solutions. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Wayne. I think, Wayne, before you... Jeff is asking, is the seminars available or recorded for access later? Sean, you want to comment?
I think Varushka would have to comment. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she will, but yeah.
Yes, so
they most certainly are recorded, and the link will go out to everybody that has registered.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Sean, would you like to finish
Okay.
off then?
Yeah, okay, guys, in closing, from sort of both Sika and my side, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to participate in our webinar. We do appreciate it, and hopefully we've sparked an interest, and we look forward to building trust with you in the future. So with that, we say goodbye until we meet next time, and we can declare the seminar closed. Thanks all. Bye.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your time.